Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing fantastic and your week is going great. It's Tuesday and I have a new video for you guys. We're going to be making this beautiful cami top from scratch and I promise you this is super easy to do. I especially love the very thin straps. I think thin straps are uber sexy. Sue me if you don't think that, but I absolutely love how this turned out, and if you want to learn how to make one for your cute self, let's get right into it. Starting off, you're going to need some very stretchy fabric. Mine was polyester and she's looking cute. Make sure it stretches, that way you can make a top that stretches and fits into your body properly, and that way you won't need a zipper. So now all I'm doing is I'm taking my tube dress. I love how this tube dress fits, and all we're doing now is we're going to cut out a piece that's going to be our front bit, our back bit. We're going to cut out 4 pieces in total, and I'm just showing you how I cut out one of the pieces. And I'm also going to show you how I cut out the second piece. So enjoy some footage of me cutting very slowly. You're welcome. Now that we have a fabulous square piece, since my material is very thin, I needed to do this double layers because I did not want people seeing my business. And yeah, I decided to cut out 4 pieces of fabric, so just using the first piece as a template, I cut out another piece, and I also did this 2 more times, and in total I had 4 pieces. So here are my fabulous 4 pieces. Ignore that they're not the same size, it doesn't matter. For stretchy fabric, it allows you to make mistakes, so don't worry if they're not perfectly the same size, it's going to work out fine. So now all I'm doing is I'm pinning the right sides of the fabric together, so the wrong side is facing me and outwards. Make sure the right sides are kissing. So I just pinned the 4 corners together, that way I could easily attach my straps. And for the straps, I used some elastic cord I got off AliExpress. I will link that down below. I cut out 12.5 inches of elastic, so measure around your shoulders and make sure she's nice and tight. And I just used the first strap as a template for the second one, that way I had 2 fabulous straps to work with. Now with my 4 corners pinned down, I just marked 2.5 inches from the side. This is going to be the position of my straps. You can measure this, you can put it over your chest and see where exactly you want your straps to be, or you could use already a tank top you have and you could use this to just make sure the straps are sitting nice and right. So all I'm doing now is I'm putting my strap in between my pieces of fabric, and just make sure to leave about half an inch to an inch. I left half an inch out, and this is going to be the end that makes sure your straps don't come undone once everything is sewn. So as you can see, I'm just sandwiching my strap between the 2 pieces of fabric, covering that up and then pinning down the strap, that way it doesn't move about. Once that's nice and pinned, I'm just going to pin the entire top section. This will just make things easier to sew, and I highly recommend you do this. Once everything is nice and pinned, you're just going to sew a straight stitch straight across. So when you come to the point where the strap is, make sure you hold down the strap with the hand that's guiding the fabric. That way the strap doesn't move and you have it ending up in a place you did not want it to be in the first place. Also make sure your strap stays within the fabric, that way it doesn't poke out and you sew it just askew. So just make sure it sits exactly where you want it to. And as you can see with mine, I'm just making sure to hold it as I sew, and I'm making sure this bad boy is not going anywhere. I needed her to stay put, and I made sure she did. So just make sure you just put her in place and you'll be fine. So I'm using a straight stitch, mostly because you want this to make sure the straps are attached to the top. And once you have that done, once you flip over your fabric, you're going to have your straps beautifully attached. As you can see, they're quite thin, so you do need the straight stitch to just make sure everything is nice and attached and this does not come undone. And once you've done this piece, you'll have a beautiful piece, and this is the front bit or the back bit, doesn't matter. Now we're going to attach the remaining 2 pieces layered up, so they also have the right sides kissing, and I'm also marking the 2.5 inch mark just to make sure my straps sit right again. I needed the straps to cooperate, okay? I did not want them just moving and flapping on about. So now to attach the strap, you're going to sandwich it in between the two pieces of fabric. So as you can see, I'm just slowly tugging her, making sure she's okay with me bringing her along, and then I'm also making sure I have half an inch poking out. That half an inch is essential. It's what ensures your strap stays attached to your top because it's super thin. You need this to stick to your top and stay inside, okay? So make sure you're leaving that small allowance at the top. So I'm just taking my sweet time and sandwiching the other strap, just making sure she's sitting at the right place on the table. We don't want anyone coming to tell her, hey, you need to get off my seat, ma'am. It's Thanksgiving. You don't want any quarrels. Anyway, I'm now just going to sew down the side as well using a straight stitch and just sew to your heart's content. Straight stitch the hell out of this top section. So as you can see, my strap at this point had disappeared into my fabric. So all I did was I removed the pin and then put her back. Just make sure she's sitting right where she needs to be and continue sewing as if nothing happened. As long as it's in the right position and you're holding it down, you should be fine. So it doesn't matter if it comes undone while you're sewing. Just make sure when it's time to sew that bit, she's at the right place, okay? So once everything is done, once you flip over that bit of fabric, as you can see, your cami top is now coming together, and now you need to sew down the sides. So since we have doubled up our fabric, we do need to sew the sides in a special way. So now all I'm doing with the right sides kissing, make sure the straps stay within your fabric. You do not want them to come out because you will not end up with a top. So make sure they're nice and tucked in. And now I'm just going to pin down the sides because we are going to be sewing along the sides to make sure our top is sealed on both sides. Pinning just makes everything easier when it comes to sewing. That way you don't have to move about with your fabric and just make it work. Because she's already in the right place, all you have to do is just go over it with a stitch and you're good to go. So as you can see, I'm making sure the strap is nice and in there, and I'm making sure not to pin it, because if you do that, it's going to be stuck to the sides and you're not going to have a cute top. So make sure the straps are nice and inside and they're nowhere near the pins. Once everything is nice and pinned, you're just going to sew down the sides to close your top. And all I'm doing is a straight stitch. So I first did a straight stitch all the way down, making sure everything is nice and sewn together. And you can actually leave it to the straight stitch, but I just got scared that since this is stretchy fabric and I did make my top quite figure hugging, I was scared that if I just did the straight stitch, I would end up with a top that did not stretch, and I was scared I'd rip out the stitches. So once I was done with my straight stitch, which took a bit of time, as you can see, once I was done with my straight stitch, just beside my straight stitch, I did a zigzag stitch. That way, if the top was a bit too tight and the straight stitches decided to give up on me, I'd have the zigzag stitches holding me down and making sure that nothing was falling out of place. So the zigzag stitches were more of a security hold, and I'm sure you can work with the straight stitches, but I just decided to do both, and that's what they look like. So we have 2 rows of stitches on both sides, and once the sides are sewn down, to make sure you get the top out, you have to flip this in a very special way. So as you can see, I'm grabbing the straps from the inside and then flipping her through, and you have your completely sewn down cami top. Love it, love it, love it. So now the last step is to hem the bottom because you don't want it to be unfinished. So since we have 2 pieces of fabric, it was a bit hard to hem. I did actually hem this and then just took it out because it looked a bit funny. So I decided I'd do a lettuce hem all around. And to do this, I just put my machine to the longest stitch length and just sewed a zigzag stitch all the way around. Hemming this fabric by just folding it inwards did prove to be a bit difficult, mostly because it was very thick and it just was a lot for my machine to handle, and I just felt like it looked a bit wonky and the pieces of fabric just kept moving about and I did not like how it looked. So I decided a lettuce hem is easier anyway, and it keeps the 2 pieces of fabric together. That way you have one nice clean hem and you get a beautiful wavy lettuce at the end of your top, which I think is quite cute. cute. So I opted for this, but you can definitely hem it the regular way if that's something you want to do. It's a DIY, so definitely customize it to fit your needs and fit your style, and whatever you want to do with it is up to you. As you can see, there's a lettuce hem at the bottom. You can't really notice it because I'd already ruined this with the regular hem, but I think it looks cute, and since I was tucking this into my jeans anyway, I didn't think it mattered and you wouldn't see it. But after that's done, you are done with your beautiful top. You can go out and rock the summer to its fullest potential. I am so excited with this top. I love how it came out, and it was really easy to do. This entire project took me about 45 minutes, and I actually left most of the things in this video. So I promise you, even if you're a beginner, you can do this. Just follow the steps and you'll be good to go. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for all the support. I love you all so much, and I am so incredibly humbled that you guys enjoy my DIY videos. If you will be trying this, please make sure you let me know. I love knowing that you guys are enjoying these types of videos and you're gonna try them. With that being said, I hope I see you guys in my next upload, which will be pretty soon. But until then, rock your cami top like there's no tomorrow and be the fabulous queen or king you're meant to be. See you next time. Bye guys.